New to Florida, you've talked about how he feels like he's showing that he belongs now. Did that start with that playoff series last year when he got in and played so well against Pittsburgh?
You'll have to ask him. I don't know when it started with him. I don't remember. I can't remember that far back. But ask him. I just think he is. I think as he got healthy this year, just had a clean bill, and he started making plays and started feeling it a little bit. Just like a lot of our guys. Confidence is an ever fleeting thing, one way or another. It can come really quickly for you, and you can lose it quickly. I think it's just stayed with him. So he's been a very important guy for us.
We've seen Sergei Bobrovsky get into really hot stretches for long periods of time. That's kind of what you need in the playoffs, isn't it? To kind of get locked in, and you need a goaltender who's at the top.
You don't win if your goaltender is your best player. Right. I think we got a pretty good chance with this guy.
John, the Capitals have a long history, certainly since Ovechkin's been there, not getting as far in the playoffs as maybe some people thought. This is a franchise here that hasn't made it out of the first round. Who's under more pressure in this first round series? Do you sense any?
I don't know. I want our guys to have fun. I'm going to try to take as much pressure, if there is any. I don't think our team feels that. I think we've gone through a little bit of progression here the past couple of months and handling the situations very well. When you're talking about finding ways to win games, it's such a grind, and it's so hard to get into the playoffs. I don't think people realize how hard it is to get into playoffs. When you do that, I think you need to stop and say, okay, this is supposed to be fun now, the pressure and the intensity, that's going to be there. We know that. We don't have to talk about that as you have to sometimes in a long regular season. So I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned. I want our guys to play as many playoff games as they possibly can. And the more they play, the more they're being successful. And so we're not putting any type of added pressure or making it a bigger deal. It's a bigger deal anyway. They already feel that. So we're going to go about our whole preparation as we prepare in the regular season. But I want our team to stop and realize the opportunity you have here, and don't think it's such a weight on your shoulders that you're there. It's got to go the other way. Take everything off and just go play, and that's how we're going to try to go about it.
You remember that hurdle in Tampa?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I tell you, in Tampa, it was. In the year, I'm not sure how many years we made it before then, before we won the Cup there, but the year we won the Cup, we were, and it very similar, if I can say, to this team being so young, and I know you guys laugh about it, but we didn't know what we were doing. We did not know, we were just playing. And I do think there is a positive to a group of guys that don't have a whole hell of a lot of experience at it, to not feel it the way maybe a number of guys in the Washington team that have been there a number of times. You'll have to ask them how they feel about it. But I know we need to go into it and have a ball. There's going to be enough things coming at you and different intensities and momentum swings playing against a really good team. We know that's going to happen, but let's not be afraid of it. Let's try to embrace it. And I think we're going in with the right mindset, especially the way we got into it this year.
How much does the mix of guys, John, help there? You got the mix of veteran guys who have been there and enough young guys who can do just exactly what you were just talking about.
Yeah, I don't know who's been there. I haven't looked at our whole group and like Testy. I'm not sure how many games they've all played. I like what we did at the deadline. It certainly helped us. I think the three guys that we brought in have been. It's been seamless as far as being in the room before they even step on the ice. And they've contributed tremendously on the ice, coupled with a bunch of guys finding themselves and playing with confidence. So I like the way we're entering. I think we can be a dangerous team if we don't overthink this. You can't overthink this. Go play and allow yourself to play. And I think we'll be a dangerous team if we get that straightened out.
Does it help you having coached against a lot of those guys so many times?
I don't even. No, I have nothing to do with it. Well, you guys may, as I've always say, coaches get too much credit when we win, and you guys give us way too much credit when we lose. This is the players' game, especially this time of year. We kick them, bark at them, grind them, get pissed off at them all for 6-7 months of a regular season. This is their time. This is where they make their career, their legacy, not in regular season. So we're going to try to direct them. We're going to try to prepare them as best we can without overthinking this, and then allow them to play. I do not want to be in their way. So you can ask about coaching and this and that. This is the players' time. They're the most important people.
John, you've talked last year about you don't want to overload the guys, like not big books of
Yeah,
information.
I used to do that, yeah.
But you can prepare for a series.
Oh, sure.
What are you willing to share about the
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
Yes. Great question, but nothing. But I used to do it that way. I'd have books on their desks today, and I just think it's just too much. I felt great. I felt great as a coach. I think I got in their way. You know, I felt great that I haven't prepared for this. This guy plays this way. Ovechkin plays that way. Backstrom plays. I gave them all the information. Then they go out there and they can't even move because they're paralyzed with so much information. So I think it's an evolution of a coach that you need to get out of their way, and I think you'll have a much better opportunity to find your way.
To follow up on the guys you brought in, veterans, Cole, Vanek, and Testi, does the impact that their playoff experience have, is it bigger in terms of what they can give you on the ice because they're used to it, or is it off the ice, the stuff that they can?
I think a bigger difference it'll make is when they're sitting with a Bjorkstrand or guys that just haven't played a lot of games. They're sitting at lunch or they're having dinner, and they talk about different experiences they've gone through as pretty much a tested guy who's played a lot of, like Kohler. I mean, he's got a couple of Stanley Cups and just some of the, not X's and O's and not the intense time of preparation or games. It's when you're going out to dinner and you're on the bus and you're sharing some stories. I think that helps players, and I think that's when the veteran guys can really help some of our young guys.
Once you get into the playoffs, does the regular season series against that team matter at all?
No, to me, we played them 4 times. When we played them the first time, it didn't matter to me when we were playing the second. You guys always ask me, well, you played them this way. I don't even remember how we played them. I don't even remember what happened in the. No, it's a clean slate, and obviously, you know, I'm not going to bullshit you. Where we as coaches look for more tendencies when you're. They have a good idea how we play. There's no secrets in the game. I know their tendencies. It's how much information that we give to the players. When you get into a series, I think you can touch upon more tendencies than you do when you play them on a Monday in October and won't see them again until maybe February. So it's a little bit different when you're into a 7-game series, but you still, I think, at least the way I feel, be really careful how much information you give to them. I'm loaded with information. The coaches are loaded with information as far as about them, but how much do we give to them?
Is it a new season as far as you're concerned? Like last year, you kind of went into this playoffs stumbling a little bit. This year, you're coming in really hot. And you obviously had other years in Tampa and New York. Does it, in your experience, does that stuff matter down the stretch in the playoffs or not really?
Yeah, well, I think last year we just kind of dried up offensively in those games. I don't think our guys weren't ready to play, and quite honestly, you know, I know we go out in 5. I don't think we played a bad series. I really don't. Everybody says, oh, yeah, is it going to be different this year? Well, what about last year? I thought we had some good minutes, and I don't forget those minutes as far as playoffs. But this year, I think we feel a little rejuvenated as far as we're getting some scoring through our lineup, which is very important. Not every mistake is going to cost you, and that's what was happening last year. We dried up a little bit, but this year, I just think we feel good about us. Our power play is beginning to be more consistent, getting some scoring in different people, and we're going to need that. Washington's going to score some goals on us. They're a pretty good team offensively. They're going to score some goals on us. We've got to make sure that we're able to bang a few in too, so not every mistake we make that ends in our net is going to cost us something.
John, going off that a little bit, you came out of the playoff series last year with so many shifts or so many stretches where you played really, really well.
Yeah, yeah.
Panarin was brought here to change.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you see other players beyond him that might impact that as well?
Well, I think Thomas Vanek has added that to us here, where That's why Pittsburgh is such a dangerous, and they're so hard to beat in the playoff series, is because they were under siege for a number of minutes when we played against them, and we come up with empty. We come up with butkus as far as a goal, and they score 2. Because of that dynamic. That's certainly what Brett has done for us during the regular season. That's certainly important during the playoffs, and I think Thomas Vanek is going to bring that to us. Like I said, he scares the hell out of me sometimes, the way he plays, and he's not skating, and he's standing still. I'm looking for a turnover. Next thing you know, he makes a great pass, and it's in the net. So yeah, as I've said, I've got to turn away with some of the stuff that he does because I want him to feel comfortable on the ice, to be dynamic. And yeah, that's very important in playoffs, in the ebbs and flows and momentum swings of games. So hopefully those guys can come through, and maybe someone else steps up in the playoffs here. I think you need a surprise when you go through a 7-game series. So we feel good about ourselves. I do. I just don't get over anxious, and if we just go about a business, I think we can be a dangerous hockey club.
It's tough taking Milano out.
Yeah, it is, and that's just to open. That'll be he'll sit out the first one, but he's another guy that, just the subject we're talking about, Ports. He's a dynamic guy, but I have to make decisions on where he fits in lines, and that's just for game 1. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's going to be a long series here. I think a lot of people will get involved in this that don't start the first game.
John, Thursday, Sunday, will you stay out there in between
Absolutely.
games 1 and 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Johnny, the importance of your fourth line, you've got individuals that can fit in and special teams and everything else, but
yeah,
the plan to roll.
Just a grind too. I'm hoping they can spend some time as far as forechecking and keeping teams in their end zone, and obviously I got a couple of guys that can take some face-offs there. They kill penalties. Yeah, so there's a lot of utility play in that fourth line, but also hopefully this line's going to have an identity in the playoffs as far as bring some grind and grit to us.
John, your penalty kill has struggled now for quite a stretch. Is there any reason that this team shouldn't be really good at the penalty kill? And how concerned are you about Washington's ability with it?
Well, yeah, obviously that's in any playoff series, special teams are very important. You're playing against Washington, and their power play is a very important part of their offense. And sure, that's going to be a huge point in this series, how we conduct it. I don't think we're going to stop it completely. I think we have to do a better job with our killing than of late. It's been inconsistent this year. I'm not going to hide from that. But as I said, you get into playoffs, just try to wipe the slate clean and get about your business here. We can kind of focus in on their tendencies, and there's a number of them. Because you think you shut off that guy over there on the one side there with the one timer. There are other things they do with it too. So yeah, that's a big part of the series, and hopefully that we're smart enough that we keep control of ourselves, our emotions, and we're a disciplined team and not sitting in that box a whole bunch in this series.
And is that a fine line there too? Because you want to have the aggressiveness,
yeah,
but you don't want to.
Yeah, but at this stage of the game, the amount of games we've played, and we've been a pretty disciplined team most of the year. I think we can handle that. The key thing is just you get amped up. There's going to be extra emotion, obviously. You just can't get amped up to where you retaliate. And that's when those are the penalties you don't kill off. If someone's standing in our blue and he's on Bob, I don't care what you do there. If we take a penalty, we take a penalty because you usually kill those off. It's the sloppy ones, the offensive zone penalties, the retaliatory penalties. Those are the ones that end up in the back of your net.
John, you were just talking about scoring dynamic this year as opposed to last year. Is Cam in a different place than he was maybe a year ago?
Oh, no question. I think Cam has gone through a great process, and where he has a career year last year, really struggles this year, injured, but I think he's playing even at a higher level now in the past couple of months, playing with Panarin and Luke there. I think he's at a higher level now than he was even at last year. And it's at a perfect time. He's allowing himself to play. He's doing things with the puck that sometimes seem dangerous, but he's very confident in doing it. So get out of his way. It's an important series. He's a very important guy to us because you do need to get some balance as far as scoring. If they're going to try to shut down maybe the guy on the other side, someone else has to step up. So yeah, he's a very important guy as we enter into this series.